I was offered $200,000 to sell my AI app. This was not a mistake. In fact, I followed the same secret blueprint to sell my next app for $235,000. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the same step-by-step blueprint that I followed to take my app from $0 to $70,000 a year of revenue and ultimately a $200,000 buyout. So as you see right here, this is a $200,000 buyout offer that I got on Acquire, and this was the yearly revenue. Some of the revenue came through Zelle, which was through some private sales, but that was about $10,000. The rest of it was through Stripe, which accounted for $59,000, and we had $53,000 in profit. So this, there were some refunds, there were some commission costs that Stripe takes up, but most of it was commissions because we had very little refunds. Now, what is the AI app? And this honestly is not important. What's really important is understanding how to scale your app and ultimately how to get a big buyout. But what mine did in particular was to help servers book shifts faster without them having to be by their laptop or phone all day. Now imagine you work at a restaurant, and to get your shift, you have to go on some sort of portal, a shared portal that a lot of your co-workers, an entire state are on to get jobs at different restaurants. Now, if you're someone who's not by your phone or your laptop all the day, you're at the grocery store, you're with family, what's going to happen is you might miss out on when a shift releases. But if you have an AI agent that can just get the shift for you when it's open, that gives you a lot of time saved. You no longer have to be by your phone or laptop. You can do other things in life, and just has a huge value proposition. And my specific value proposition was that I would book an extra 10 shifts a month with doing zero added work. Now that's, what clients would see, and they would be like, whoa, I can get 10 extra shifts a month with no added effort on my end at all. And that was kind of the guarantee that I worked with. And through that, I was able to onboard a lot of clients. Now, one thing I do want to note was that I had absolutely no landing page for this at all. To this day, it's been over a year, I've had no landing page built for this app. It's not even on the App Store. It's literally a private sell that I give to clients. And I'll show you the exact blueprint I used to follow this. And again, it's extremely crazy how people in today's age believe that you need to do a bunch of content marketing, YouTube videos, Instagram reels to get users on your app. No, I didn't use any Instagram, no YouTube. Some of my clients don't even know my face. They don't even know how I look like. That's the part you want to be at when you're scaling your product. Obviously, nothing's wrong with founder-led content, but if you can scale a product without even seeing your face, that's how you know you have a good product. But what exactly is a blueprint? So we're going to walk through each step in depth, but this is the overall blueprint. One is you want to find a client who will pay you to build the solution. How? We'll go over that. Second is to build a solution for the client, whichever one they're willing to pay you for. Then we'll go over the shadow clone system. And then we're going to go how to find more clients, and then how to take a 6-month to 12-month MRR projection so you can get a proper valuation for your software. And ultimately, we'll use that to get acquired. Now, again, this might sound like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but it's okay because we're going to go over this in depth. Now, step one, you're going to find a client who will pay you to build a solution. Now, you might not even know the solution. And what I used to do, and I still do to this day, honestly, is I go to Reddit and I do what's called honeypot posting. What this does is it attracts clientele. Basically, you make a post talking about the skills that you have, past projects you've built. You kind of tell the story, and they see this. And if your post gets a lot of views, in this case, mine got 20,000 views, what's going to happen is people are going to message you and ask you to build whatever you can build using your skills. So in this specific example, I talked about how I built an AI agent that could run payroll for employees, for like a program manager. Now, this other people, I guess, saw this Reddit post, other people in the community saw this Reddit post, and they're like, oh my God, this guy can build AI agents. Let me go hit him up and ask him to build an AI agent for something that I personally need. It might not be related to payroll at all. In this case, it wasn't. It was related to banquet servers. So I was like, I got the DM from the guy, and that's when the process started. We hopped on a phone call, and then he told me this pain point. He walking through the platform, and a year later, he made $60,000, $70,000, right? Now, building the solution for the client, it's pretty simple. I think the building part is one of the easiest parts now when it comes to AI business. You can hire someone to do it, you can do it yourself. It doesn't really matter. I know a lot of people who are watching this that are not technical. You might be like, man, I don't want to vibe code, even though AI does all of the work. You might just want to hire someone to do it. That's totally fine. By all means, do that. I personally, if you're creating a mobile app, use Rourke for vibe coding. I think it's one of the best platforms. It supports Claude, it supports Gemini. If you're building a website, I would recommend using Gemini 3 Pro or Lovable AI. This is an example of a app being built through Work. You can see everything from what Work is thinking, the structure, the color scheme, and you can see a live preview. You can get your phone and scan the QR code, not just come on your phone, you can use it and test your app out via that. And for more complicated apps, like I said, if you want to really make something that is generational or just has a lot of moving parts, I would just recommend using Claude Code via the terminal, CLI, or use Cursor. My go-to is Cursor, especially if you're code savvy, you are technical. Cursor is one of the best IDEs I think that ever has existed, because it can help you build projects and mobile apps, web apps with ease, literally with ease. Now, once you actually built your app, what you want to do now is move forward to the shadow clone system. And this is a system that I feel like it's not proprietary in terms of, I'm sure there's people who know something similar to this, but I've never honestly heard of another business owner in my personal network who does this like constantly. What the shadow clone system is essentially you get there's you, right? You're the first person, and then you get 2 clients, let's say, right? So this isn't a sample. This isn't the example for my specific software. This is a more generic example that can apply to maybe yours or a software in general. So you want to charge, let's say, one time of $5K, right? That's for your first client. Now that first client can find 3 other clients, and that first client will get 15% of all sales revenue from these clients. Now, this first client, so right here, the clients he gets out of these 3, you can say 15%, but now looking back at it, what I've done in the past is I've given my first client 30 to 40% commission off of every sale they bring, because that's really what's going to get them motivated. Because let's say you charge the first client $5K one time, and that client is now able to go to his friends and charge them maybe like $800, $1,600 a month for the same exact solution. If that client is getting 30%, 160 times 3 is about $480 per month that client is getting just by referring their friends. And on the flip side, you're still getting about 300, like what the rest of, so like a 480 minus 1600. So you're probably earning anywhere from like $11, $20 a month in revenue off a client you would not have gotten otherwise. That's the biggest thing. You would not have gotten this client otherwise had your first client not referred this guy. And that's something that I want you to realize. And that first client might get you another client. Because idea, let's say you're charging like $5,000 for a voice AI for a dentist, one of the most popular things you can do today, right? That voice AI, that dentist, he knows other dentists who probably need a voice AI system. Because dentists know other dentists, athletes know other athletes, real estate agents know other real estate agents. It's just the way of the world. So what happens is, that dentist gets his friends on it. And what you can do is let's say the dentist gets 4 of his dental friends. One of his dental friends can have the same deal where that dental friend also gets 30% commission off of every sale they bring. And now that dental friend might have other dentist friends that this guy doesn't know. So now he has 4 other dentists. So now what you're getting is basically 2 times the reach at minimum by turning your clients into mini marketers, almost creating shadow clones of yourself, of your marketing self. And that's how you can scale very quick. In fact, that's literally what I did for my LinkedIn, part of my banquet server solution. But eventually what I did to find more clients, this is what I almost said, was LinkedIn. So I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator as well as general LinkedIn posting to get more clientele. I mainly use LinkedIn Sales Navigator because you can filter upon all these different filters right here, and it becomes very helpful. I mean, this is in French, I believe, but you can filter out geography, you can filter off company headcount in case you're targeting like small, medium-sized businesses. The job title, this is what I use. I use job title for servers, and I also pick the location on the West Coast. And that's sometimes all you need. You just need a couple of filters and you can find your ideal ICP. ICP being ideal customer profile, if you don't know that already, although you probably should know that. Now, as you scale, and I have a bunch of templates that I've used for LinkedIn messaging. I usually DM like 25 people the same message, and another 25 a different message, but for the same, purpose of selling my software. This is a good sample size for me to test which type of message works. because LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you don't have to be connected with the person to message them, which is great because a lot of times your ideal clients might not really know who you are. They probably won't want to connect with you. So you can't get in their inbox unless you're connected with them, unless you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is why it's very beneficial to have an account. It's free, by the way, for like 30 days. So just use it, use all the credits up, and see what you can get. Like my first $5,000 a month I got to my tool, I used LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which was completely free. I used a free trial and I did not pay a dime for it. And I was able to hit 5K a month MRR, 5K MRR. And the next part of the blueprint is, how you take your 6-month MRR to a 12-month projection. And me being honest and transparent, I actually kind of shit the bed here, because what I did, if you remember from the beginning, my yearly revenue, I guess minus the 10K from Zelle. So I guess it's 70K total, you can say. So 70K total is the yearly revenue, all right, the gross volume. Remember that. My gross volume was 44 in 6 months. So my 12-month projection was 88,000, nearly $90,000. But what happened was I honestly just shit the bed where because I was looking for acquisition and I really didn't care about the app's performance as much anymore, I stopped maintaining the app as much. I had someone maintaining anyways, but that person had to drop off because some family conflicts, and that's just that happens in business. Like your people who you depend on, things might happen in their personal life where they just can't, support you anymore for whatever the case may be, whether it be customer support, whether it be maintaining the software, whatever it is. And I just had a lot of other ventures and AI businesses that I was developing and spending more time on that were just making me more money, that I let the MRR dip and I didn't do much about it. The revenue did decline a bit, which is why at the end of 12 months, I made like $70,000, whereas I should have made about $20,000 more. And maybe I could have got a bigger offer, right? Instead of 200K, I could have got like a 350K offer, because that's how the multiples work. You can sell your software for 3 to 5 times its 12-month projection. So if your 12-month projection is $90,000, you can sell it for $180,000 to $450,000. Sorry, 3 to 5x, right? So $270,000 to $450,000. And I could probably sell mine for much higher. I did undersell myself a bit, but I just wanted a faster acquisition. Because again, I was just not really maintaining the product much. I didn't care too much about it. I kind of just wanted out. That's the same thing with my next app that just ranked 1 on Google for Instagram search, Instagram mass DMing, and it made about 51,000, and we're selling for 4.6x. That's about $235,000. And yeah, it just, I'm tired of it. Honestly, I just want to move on to a new app. And why not take a 6-figure check, a multi-6-figure check on my way out, right? And that's really just the last step, which is to get acquired. And this should be step 6. But you can see a bunch of offers or a bunch of people that were interested, right? And these aren't all offers. This is just acquire.com. It connects their bank account with the app, so it actually will tell you how much money is in each person's bank account that they have connected. So you can tell if they can actually afford your software. Like the top contender was a $3 million account. Like that guy could definitely buy a $200,000 software acquisition, right? Now, the part of the acquisition that people don't think about, think they can just list their software. What does it mean to list a software? You have to have a P&L statement. Okay, so you see right here, I have the 12 months of P&L for my software. It's like a Excel sheet that they require you to fill out, make sure all the information is updated on there. And then you want supporting data. I have like a company overview PDF that kind of walks any potential person who's interested in the tool, what the tool does, how it works, what the industry is, a couple of screenshots of the tool so the person can see in action. I also have a video hype package. This is like a cool demo video I made of the software with like a 3D animation, all these cool things that just makes a buyer just more interested. It's not something that is real business value. It's just more building the hype up, right? And they're like, oh my God, this is a really cool app. Like, I really like this idea. And then I also have an introduction. This is like a VSL, a video sales letter, where I go through how to use the app, what it does, what the value proposition is, why you should buy it. Kind of me just trying to, again, sell the lead on why they should acquire my software. And this is a very big step that a lot of people ignore, because the better that you're supporting data, these leads who are like very, sophisticated buyers, successful people, like they have 3 million to their name. They obviously have done good stuff in life. This guy's 4.2 million to his name. You've done good stuff in life. They are actually looking at your supporting data. If your supporting data sucks, they're not even gonna message you back. And I've gotten like it's been times where I've messaged someone and I get no response back, and they're like a $1 million account. I'm like, bro, come on, man. And that's something that you just have to be okay with, which is why you want to make sure your data room, which is what it's called, is very, very exact and secure, and has all the information you really need, realistically. But that's the beautiful part about software and getting it acquired, and this is the exact blueprint that I followed. And if you're looking to scale your software's monthly revenue so you get a very good 12-month projection and you can get acquired for $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, whatever the case may be, check the first link in the description below.